Welcome to our underground hotel. Geoff and I traveled to the middle of the outback to explore Australia's only underground town. And over the next few days, Geoff and I are going to show you the outback, opal mines, and what living underground is like. But first, we have to get here, which means we have a 9-hour drive all the way from Adelaide. Good morning. We are on our way to Coober Pedy. We have a 9-hour drive from Adelaide all the way to Coober Pedy, driving into the outback. We are about 1 hour in. We have stopped once to get some water and use a restroom. This is going to be a very long drive. And the views, I'm very excited to see the outback, but so far, kind of looks just like the desert. So we'll see how that goes over the next 8 hours. We will be stopping along the way. We gotta eat lunch. We'll stop if we see anything interesting, but we do have one planned stop that we're really excited for. It is one of Australia's kinda, sorta Great Lakes. Wish us luck.
Not 2 minutes after Alexa gets done opening us up for the day, did we come across, well, I don't know how else to put it, but I think we found the Loch Ness Monster.
Apparently, it's been in Australia.
That's why they could never find it in Scotland. This right behind me is one of the Outback's lakes. It's really mostly a salt flat because it doesn't actually get all that much rain out here. But if you were to come a little bit later, maybe during a wetter season, it would actually fill up with quite a bit of water. Nothing substantial, but enough that you would actually see water there. And apparently in this lake, the water is pink. The pink color of which comes from the chemical keratin. I bet it's very pretty. Unfortunately, we're here during the dry season. Brief stop because we still have, well, like 7.5 hours worth of driving to go.
It's not a road trip without road trip lunch at McDonald's. I am proud to say that after 3 full months of travel, this is our first time getting McDonald's. And mostly we're doing it because it's just easy to eat chicken nuggets while we're on the road. Maybe later I will show some of our snacks that we have.
Alexa and I have about 9 hours of driving to get to Coober Pedy, so I figured this might be a good time to talk about the vast geography of the Outback, because this place is huge. First, the Outback isn't a specific place on a map of Australia. Rather, it's a term used to describe the remote and arid interior of the country, far from the major coastal cities like Sydney, Melbourne, or Adelaide, which is where we're driving from. And it covers most of Australia. Depending on how it's defined, the Outback spans between 70% to 80% of Australia's total landmass, or an area larger than India or the contiguous United States. That's a whole lot of very dry land. But of course, the geography of the Outback is more varied than you might think. There are dusty red deserts like the Simpson and Great Victoria deserts, but also rocky ranges, dry grasslands, and even pockets of forest. Much of it sits on the ancient Australian Shield, one of the oldest geologic formations on Earth. And of course, because it's so dry, the Outback is very sparsely populated. Some areas have fewer than 1 person for every 10 square kilometers. And the town of Coober Pedy, where we're going, is home to only about 1,500 people. Overall, the climate is harsh, with scorching summers, freezing nights, and unpredictable rain. But for those willing to make the journey, like we are right now, the Outback offers a look at what most of Australia actually is: a remote, rugged, and inhospitable landmass.
We just made a quick stop to get some gas and use the restroom, get some drinks and snacks. But what's unfortunate that we've noticed out here in the Outback is there are some really annoying flies. They like stick to you. I accidentally left the door open and like 7 of them got in. We got all of them out except for one that just keeps flying around in the car that is so annoying. Sorry, Geoff.
After about 6 hours of driving, Alexa and I have made it to one of Australia's Great Lakes. Well, not really. In fact, if you look behind me, all of that shimmeringness is not water. It's sand. It's actually a giant salt flat. But if you look on Google Maps, it's gonna look like, and it's gonna be named, Lake Hart. And on the map, there are a lot of these Great Lakes. This isn't even the biggest one. Lake Eyre, which is about 500 kilometers northeast from here, is much bigger. But again, these aren't really lakes. They are ephemeral. At some point during the wet season, a storm will blow through and they will fill up with water, but only for a short period of time. And then the water will evaporate and it'll turn into a salt flat once again. It's one of the weirdest parts about Australia because unlike every other continent in the world, they don't actually have any Great Lakes. Now with that, we're gonna go because I am literally being swarmed by flies right now. And we still have a 3-hour drive, but this is insane, oh my God. Seriously, Australia, what is up with these flies? This is insane. They're not even biting me. They're just kind of swarming around me and touching my face. So annoying. While we would love to spend more time here at Lake Hart, not only do we have a long drive still ahead of us, a little over 3 hours before we get to Coober Pedy, I feel like if we don't leave soon, we're gonna become one with the flies.
Promised, I want to go over the snacks that we brought and bought on this road trip, and we're losing daylight, so want to go through that really quickly. First, our bag of snacks. We've already had some. We've been in the car since, I don't know, like 8:30 this morning, and it's currently 6. But we brought a lot of fruit, so an orange we haven't had yet. We've each had a banana, easy things to eat in the car. We did bring some grapes, but they're not in the best condition anymore, so we'll see if we're still able to eat those. Geoff had a beef jerky stick. We got some granola bars, some mixed nuts, some chips. We haven't tried these. We got them yesterday at the grocery store. They were on sale, and I'm just realizing now that they're actually not Lay's. They're proudly Australian made, called Thins. But they look good, they look crispy, so we'll probably be trying those soon. And last but not least, our favorite are these raspberry twists. They're like licorice, I don't know. They're so good, they're bite-sized, easy to eat in the car. They're so good. Only 1 more hour to go. See you in Coober Pedy. After 11 hours of travel, we have made it to Coober Pedy, and we are in our underground hotel room. This is why we came all the way to Coober Pedy. We wanted to stay in an underground town, so we had to get an underground room. We're staying at the Lookout Cave Motel. This is literally one of the nicest places we've stayed here in Australia, but over the last few months of travel. Okay, so you walk in, you know, we have our couch, TV, little kitchen, but the obvious cool thing, look at the walls. Like, we're literally underground. It is so cool. There is a very cute storage area a little shelf right here for, well, I guess my arm right now, but in theory, other things. We've got a nice sized bathroom. Once again, the cool walls are in here. We've got a little bit of storage space for our suitcases if we were to hang any clothes or anything like that. But this way is the bedroom. It's so cool. We're definitely underground, as you can tell by all of the walls. So we're gonna be sleeping in a room with absolutely no windows. I am very excited to hopefully have a very nice deep sleep with no light, no sound, and it's comfy. But that's okay.
Alexa, is this a cave?
It is if we turn off the lights. I will say it does get pretty dark in here. This is nice.
It was the wrong answer because a cave still has to be natural.
Ah, darn. I mean, these walls look pretty natural. Okay, we've done a lot of driving and traveling. We're very excited to be here in Coober Pedy. It's time for us to get some dinner and get some rest so we can explore tomorrow. Night.
Good morning. So, sleeping in a cave, or what is essentially a cave, is kind of an interesting experience. When you turn off the lights, there is no light. And I don't think I realized that until last night that I have just a little fear of dark, or a fear of claustrophobia, or a fear of being buried in the dark. But just to give you guys an idea of just how deep we are in the cave, I figured I would show you something really quick. As you can see, we do have a window. So we're only about 20 feet or so into this cave. It does get very dark, but we are one of the outer rooms, so we have a direct access outside. There are some rooms that go way deeper into this thing. I kind of wish I had one of those, though after last night, I'm kind of glad I don't. We have a really fun day planned to explore Australia's underground town. So I'm going to make some tea and coffee, get some breakfast going, and then we're going to hit the town of Coober Pedy. As Alexa's getting ready, I figured I would take you guys on a brief little tour of our area, just because, well, we didn't get a chance to see it at all last night. It was well after dark when we rolled in. I think one of the things to note here in Coober Pedy is that not everything is underground. In fact, most things aren't. And the things that are underground are actually built into hills, not really underground. So it's kind of a unique place. Our hotel, of course, is under one of those hills, but it makes for a very unique area to visit. And we'll have a lot more to show you in a little bit. But for now, let's just explore a little bit. In so many ways, the Outback reminds me of the Mojave Desert of California, which I've driven through many times. But there's one thing that is quite different. The Outback has basically no mountains. It has little hills every now and then, but if you look out into the distance, you're gonna notice a distinct lack of any prominent peaks. And there's actually a reason for this. Australia, millions of years ago, drifted northward to where it now finds itself, right into the middle of a tectonic plate, which means as far as seismic activity goes, which is the main thing that causes and creates mountains, Australia doesn't really have any. There's some mountain ranges in the east, but certainly not in the Outback. Fascinating place. As you can see, Alexa is finally ready. So we are now on our way to go grab some breakfast in what is hopefully an underground cafe, because this is an underground tour of Australia's underground town. And of course, because we were in the car all day yesterday, we decided to walk there, which is quite beautiful in a certain way, but very dusty.
Yeah. We've been on our walk for less than 5 minutes, and we've already started getting attacked by the Australian bush flies. Jeff, how are you doing?
Terribly. I hate these things. I don't want to say they're worse than mosquitoes because at least they don't bite you, but man, they're just so persistent and annoying. The fact that they land on your face, like there's one on me right now, it's incredulous. They are awful. I did read a little bit about them, and I did find that this is a well-known thing. There's not really any strong way to combat them, but the reason why they like humans so much apparently is because our sweat and saliva and tears all give them whatever sort of nutrients they need to survive and create a bajillion more bush flies, I guess. I don't know. I hate it.
We'll see how much walking around town we do today.
Bad news, breakfast is closed. We got a little bit too late of a start today, unfortunately. Instead, we are gonna go and try and find some waffles. But they won't be underground waffles.
A few moments later.
Breakfast update number 2. Cell service is down here in Coober Pedy, and so we just had to swing by the grocery store and pick up a couple. There's a fly in my eye. So we just swung by the grocery store and picked up a couple of croissants. It was a good croissant. Goes well with the flies.
So we are heading back to our hotel room to eat our breakfast. The other issue is it's Sunday and a lot of things are also closed. I'm sure we're gonna be able to do a lot. We just gotta figure out what is open so we can do it.
We made it back. I will say that, do you guys know that book, Lord of the Flies? I don't think it's anything about flies, but I now feel like the Lord of the Flies, based on how much they apparently like me. Time for breakfast. Alexa and I have officially made it to our next spot here in Coober Pedy. And unfortunately, while I was expecting that we would walk to a lot of places, because of the amount of flies, which are already starting to swarm over me, we are now driving to a lot more places. It's just funny, the natural elements that you don't really account for being a factor in how you get around places or how you experience a place.
We have made it to the Coober Pedy walking trail. So we wanted to show a little bit of the Outback, which is where Coober Pedy is located. But we also wanted to talk about the people that have lived on this land for many, many, many years. And that is the Aboriginal peoples of Australia. They have lived in all parts of the Outback for at least 50,000 years. By the time European colonization happened in the 1800s here in Central Australia, the Aboriginal peoples already had over 250 languages. They had complex trading networks and societies and technologies. The Aboriginal people of Australia are thought to be one of the oldest continuous cultures in the world. Coober Pedy is a traditional land of the Arabana people, though there are other Aboriginal groups that have cultural ties to this area. In Australia, Aboriginal people and the Torres Strait Islanders make up about 3.8% of the total population. Coober Pedy got its name in 1920. One of the theories or thoughts is that it derives from the Aboriginal word Coober Pedy, which means white fella's hole in the ground, or Coober Pedy, which means white man's hole. And that is a nod to all of the mining that has taken place here in Coober Pedy.
Honestly, we had a much bigger plan to do a much larger hike in the Outback today. These flies, I just can't overstate enough how aggravating they are.
Honestly, I think the flies are the main character of this episode.
They have big main character energy, that's for sure. With that, we're cutting our hike a little short today to go to, well, something inside.
Please.
Kind of like from the movie Cars. I don't remember the name of the little tow truck one is, but... Hal? Hal? Alexa is so annoyed by the flies that she's literally trying to outrun them.
Always shopping.
We have made it to our next location here in Coober Pedy, an actual historic opal mine, which is why I'm wearing a hard hat, so I don't bunk my head.
All right, protecting my hair first.
I just want to point out that one way or another, we always seem to find ourselves in a cave of some sort. We're also kind of living in a cave while we're here. Coober Pedy is home to one of the largest deposits of opal anywhere in the world. And I don't know how much mining still goes on here, but there's still a lot of opal here. All this crouching I'm doing reminds me of the Coochie tunnels. Oh, it's nice to stand up again. Alexa, is this a cave?
No, because it's man-made.
Girl knows her caves.
Oh yeah. If you look up, you can see how miners used to climb out of the holes. I don't know if I can do it.
I don't think I could either, but it does give you an idea of how deep we are. I would guess probably 40 feet.
So if you look in there, you can kind of start to see the line of where opal is, and I can't believe miners were just like digging in the holes and trying to find opal and like looking for these lines. It's kind of crazy.
I don't have the heart to tell Alexa, but that's kind of how all mines work.
So right here, protected by this glass, is opalized seashells that came from the seafloor like tens and millions of years ago. But you can kind of see right here, like the seashells all opalized. It's very pretty, neat.
One of the things you'll notice if you ever come into a mine like this is that it gets a little stuffy, which might make you think, how much oxygen is actually down here? Well, thankfully, we have one of these things behind me, which is a wind sock, which allows oxygen to go up and down, because otherwise we wouldn't be able to breathe, and the miners wouldn't have either.
This is a model of what a miner's home would have looked like back in the early 1900s. It's a rustic feel, rustic vibe. This is a more modern model of underground living. Kind of looks just like a normal house, except for obviously the walls. It's cute.
This particular home that we're wandering through now apparently was lived in until 1990. What's most fascinating about this is that you can still get one of these homes built here if you want. And they will literally sell you a plot of underground land and then drill it out. So you can live in your very own, well, cave. Tight squeeze. Now, every time I think I'm safe, I'm not safe. Really cool experience going through an old opal mine here in Coober Pedy. But we're gonna go have some lunch. Hopefully these flies die down and we'll see you guys in the evening. After a few hours of just getting away from the flies, but also resting and relaxing a little bit, we are heading to one final stop here in Coober Pedy. Some sort of restaurant with some sort of good view so that we can see some sort of sunset.
We got our drinks, we're ready for the sunset. I have some Australian wine, Sauvignon Blanc.
And I just got a beer.
Yeah.
And we have a beautiful place for a sunset.
While we're watching the sunset, the sun is setting over the Cancun Breakaways Conservation Park. It is a very large, expansive conservation area, very deserty. We really wanted to go out there, but unfortunately not all of the roads are sealed, therefore we weren't able to go. But it makes for a beautiful backdrop for the sunset.
And with that sunset, we are going to call it a night. This has been a very fun episode to record. Very fly-filled episode to record.
Yeah.
And a very interesting one because I once saw Coober Pedy on a mini documentary maybe 5 or 10 years ago. And to be honest, I never thought I would actually be here. But I made it. I've lived the underground city.
I also never thought I would be here, but to be fair, I didn't know about this place ever.
Next week, we are off to Tasmania, another area that most people who ever visit Australia don't go to. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to the channel and of course, like the video. And be sure to go over to our Substack, geolex.substack.com, for even more travel content and our real opinions about things.
You might hear a thing or two about the flies.
And of course, as always, come back next week
For another adventure. See you then.
Ah, flies. Ah! This can make for great bloopers, but I hate them right now.
Yeah, your back is like got like 5 or 6 of them on there.
Ah. What the hell, Australia? What the f are these things? I shouldn't say that. It can be bleeped out. What are these things?
Is that? I don't think that's gonna work.
Nah, flies. Alexa bumped her head. Nah, fly.